Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Tiabu and I watched some more new shows today, as has been the case for the last few days. Had three shows that aired today so far, minus Psychopass. The new season of Psychopass first episode has aired and has come out, but the only subs that I can find for it at the moment seems to be an English translation of the Arabic translation of the Japanese original, which is a little bit too many layers for me to actually think and trust that that's going to be a good set of subs. So I'm just leaving that until a better subgroup picks it up. So only three shows thus far. The first one that I watched today, and I only got a little bit of the way through it, and then I fast forwarded through the rest of the episode because it was goddamn awful. Was Val X Love. This was a Hoods Entertainment show, the same people who brought us the wonderful Seikon no Quasar and more recently Drifters. And it was trash. It was a dumpster fire and kind of an enjoyable dumpster fire if you're into such things. It was generic and bland and trite and pandering and had lots of problems, and it also didn't look very good. I was hoping for at least one good Sakuga-esque cut in it, and I was disappointed. The characters are as I've seen this before many times as they come. The fan service was pretty awful and blatant and not very fun, or sexy in any way. The female cast, which is I assume the reason that anybody would watch this, is entirely unappealing to me, and the main character is likewise entirely unappealing. He's a guy who looks rough on the outside, and everybody thinks that he's a demon and thus responsible for a bunch of demonic incidents that seem to be happening all around town. But he's actually a sweet, wholesome, wonderful dude at heart who just wants peace and quiet to study his studies. But he goes home and there are all these fucking girls there, and he has to make out with them while they're naked, I think. I missed some elements while I was fast forwarding through the second half of the episode. He has to make out with them while they're naked to unlock their superpowers so that they can defeat demons, I guess. If that sounds appealing to you, don't watch this show. If that doesn't sound appealing to you, don't watch this show. Probably just don't want to watch this show any way you look at it. It wasn't a lot of fun. Unless you are interested in watching dumpster fires, which I sometimes am. This was this was not bad enough to be funny enough to watch, which is about the worst I can say of any show ever. Yeah. The second show that I watched today was actually my favorite show of the day, and it's a kid's show. It's called Mairi Mashita. It's about a kid whose parents, who suck, sell him to a demon because they suck. He is working his ass off on a fishing boat, and then suddenly, whoosh, he's in Demon Land, and he meets this super flamboyant, really enjoyable demon guy named Sullivan, who asks him to be his grandson, and then treats him right. It's pretty cute. And then he goes off to demon high school. So there's this tension where if any of the demons, devils, whatever, find out that he is human, they're gonna eat him. And he's also extremely like overly agreeable. He agrees to everything and is like, yes, yes, please shit on me. So there's character conflict. There are flaws. The general production of it was great. It was fun. I mean the character designs aren't super detailed or anything like that. It's a kid show, but there was lots of goofy fun animation and some great gags like the school anthem. Um, just all over some pretty generally fun stuff. And I don't know, if you don't mind kids shows, I would say this is a fun watch. I'd be totally willing to watch more of this. Is it worth a slot for me and like taking up time weekly to watch this? No, not at all. But if you just have time on Saturdays that you're trying to kill, this is a great time killer, and I would highly recommend at least checking out the first episode, seeing if it lands for you as well as it landed for me, because it landed pretty well for me. The third thing that I watched today, which is the thing that most people are waiting for, which has the most hype behind it and the most money behind it, is of course the Fate Grand Order adaptation that is coming. This is the second mobile game adaptation of the week, and while it was significantly better in my book than the first mobile game adaptation of the week, Azur Lane, whatever, um, significantly better, still just okay. I was rather disappointed by this episode, having seen episode 0 and being kind of on the fence about it, mostly because I didn't really know where it was going and am not familiar with Fate Grand Order in general. which I understand is probably why I didn't enjoy it, and it'll probably be a fucking awesomeness fest for those of you who are into Fate Grand Order. I'm not, and so it didn't land very well for me. The main feeling that I got with this show was that there were a bunch of incredibly well polished puzzle pieces that did not fit together. Like, the backgrounds look great, the characters look pretty good, the characters on the backgrounds don't look very good. Uh, the writing seems really suspect and the direction seems unpolished. The director is the role that brings everything together, that ensures that all of the different silos of operations of a studio are working in unison and brings it all together into a cohesive whole. And I got the distinct feeling that that voice of like cohesiveness was missing from this episode. Now, I'm sure that it will get better as time progresses. I'm sure that it will improve, but this was not a very solid showing for a first episode. And while I didn't hate it, I also was in no way brought into the show or invested in it. And after a short like 5 minute discussion with some of the people on Discord, some of them feel the same way. Some of them feel like that's just the nature of a gotcha game adaptation and Fate Grand Order in general. So all right, cool. This is It's got a lot of the things that I like least about Fate in general, and not a lot of things that can carry it beyond that. The other thing about the episode was that it was extremely loud in some portions and rather quiet in others. There was a weirdness with the sound design, and use of music that kind of put me off of the show. Um, Not terribly interested in this, not terribly interested in watching more, a little bit disappointed overall. And a part of that is because Ufotable is good at spoiling you on that good stuff. Um, I'm sure that the show will come together a little bit more as the people working on it get used to working with each other a little bit more. But if it's going to be 24 episodes before that happens, I'm not interested in going along for the ride. So, those are the shows that I watched today. They were terrible, okay, and pretty good. But not in that order. They were terrible, pretty good, and okay in that order. I would highly recommend going and checking out my Rimashita. It was a really fun time, and you might really like it. Um, Although it's probably a show that will fly deep under the radar just because it's a kids show, and that makes sense. That's fine. Um, I will be keeping an eye out for Psychopaths. If better new subs come out, I will check that out. But that'll be a wrap for the day, and I've got plans to do other things for today to lighten my load for tomorrow. Because if I did all of the things that I have scheduled for Sunday, it would be new airing shows plus Chihayafuru plus Vinland Saga plus Liz and the Bluebird, and that's a lot of things. So I'm gonna knock one of those things off the list, and those of you who are patrons will see Liz and the Bluebird go up probably later today. So yeah. Uh those are the shows that I watched today. If any of them sound like they're your cup of tea, go and watch them. If they don't sound like your cup of tea, skip. Skip Val and Love, Valx Love, Valx Love, whatever it is. Skip that one. It's not worth it. Anyway, that's it for me. Me too, boo. These shows I watch. Bye.